Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It's Sunday night, and that means it's only one thing. It's time for the My Private Cellar's Australasian Supercar eSeries. Yes, it is that time of night again. The wild world of V8s on the ovals, and tonight we are at Atlanta Motor Speedway, one of the faster tracks in the world nowadays. This newly resurfaced, redone 2.4-kilometer track is incredibly quick, and we should see some great pack racing. I'm as ever Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you. Joining me up here in the booth, I have Matt Hunter. How you going, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad, Carl, not too bad.
Good. Just quickly looking at track conditions, it's a bit overcast today. 39 degrees track temperature though. That is going to heat up those tyres. 28 degrees air temperature and a little bit of wind. So qualifying has just wrapped up for this round number 4 of season 7, and we're about to begin the Atlanta round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. So let's look at the qualifying results. And taking pole position after taking the win last time out, it's Craig Roffey on the front row. Troy Davidson starts next to him on the outside. Gary Wellman, Tom Pritchard make up on row number 2. It's Todd Maxfield with Aaron Dillon making it a Simboys row 3. A Simboys row 4 with Kate Donnelly and Dwayne Priest. Simboys almost row 5 with Chris Finlay and Peter Madison breaking up the Simboy pack. Greg Spencer comes in 6th on row 6 with Joshua Maynard making his debut on the ovals tonight. Adam Johnson and Shane Roffey make up row 7. Row number 8, we have Adam Malone and Mitch McIntyre. Row 9 sees Michael Latter and Noddy Tompkins together. Row number 10, Kim Roffey with Justin Whitcher. Andy Barber is on the 11th row with Tim Blundell, Brian Blundell, Darren McKenzie, Aidan Schultz, Peter Jones and Kobe Jordan. 27 cars out here tonight. Should be a bumper field. We're expecting some really good racing. I expect to see some very tight pack racing, possibly 3 wide here at Atlanta. It can be a pretty hectic thing. Just quickly going over the championship before we start rolling out. It's Gary Wellman in the lead of the championship. It's a little surprise, although only 1 win this season. He's up there in first with 101 points. It's Justin Whitcher in second with 98 points. In third place is Andy Barber with 94 points. Chris Finlay sits in third position with 83. Todd Maxfield in 5th with 82. Quickly with the team championship, Southern Stars Esports leading the championship at the moment with 108. A nice healthy lead over the Simboys with 104. Pinnacle Esports with 101. And Rogue Sim Sports sitting in 4th position with 80 points. So expect that to close up as well as this season goes on. And look, a strong result tonight could easily jump some of those teams, some of those drivers, a couple of positions up the list. So far, we are running with 3 separate victors in 3 rounds. So that shakes things up a little bit, which is always nice. So that always makes a bit of difference there. So I expect to see a few people wanting to try and get a double victory to their name. And if they can, it's not going to be an easy thing, but they will try their best, I'm sure. So we go around under formation lap. Up front, Craig Roffey, Troy Davidson. There's a few new faces out there tonight as well. And this could be their oval debut, especially in these V8s. And that could be a tricky thing. The pack racing will be close. Pace car is about to pull in. I'm about to go green here for Atlanta Motor Speedway. 134 laps tonight. We go green for the My Private Cellar's Australasian Supercar eSeries. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy these cars roar away. And as the field comes screaming across the quad oval for the first time tonight for lap number 1, it's Gary Wellman up. Craig Rothie up in the lead. Gary Wellman all over the rear of that car. Quite a few nervous cars throughout the field. You see Dwayne Priest just getting a little bit twitchy there. These cars are not settled in at the moment. Tyres are still a little bit cold and the cars are very, very twitchy indeed. Expect to see them getting a little bit more comfortable once everything's up to temperature after about lap 3 or 4. But in these early stages, this car is looking very twitchy. Quite a big field spread at the moment as well. Quite a few people just dropping off a little bit. A few people just having to lift off at the start as well, just to take an easy moment as the cars got very, very twitchy on them. And we've got a wreck happening in the background as two cars get into contact with each other. Will they bring out the caution flag? Not looking like it. I think Mitch McIntyre was one of the drivers involved in that one, as well as Adam Johnson, two of the new faces to the ovals, and just getting a little bit sideways on the exit there. Adam Johnson, just the back end, got out from underneath him. He slid down and caught McIntyre. A big shame in their debut here on the ovals tonight, but an easy mistake to make. That high side on that corner can really bite a car as you get loose on the exit. Nothing you can do in a situation like that. Unfortunately, McIntyre was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but probably saved us from having a caution as he did deflect that car to point it in the right direction. So we're still green after 5 laps. The front has started to close up a bit. Like I said, there was quite a bit of field spread. That field spread is closing now. Everybody's using the draft, closing up with each other from first down to 13th position. Less than 0.8 of a second cover. 13 cars at the moment. Shane Rothie tailing the field at the moment. Just looking quickly at Latta and Justin Whitcher back there. They're sort of in the second pack at the moment. They're going to want to try and close this up as quick as possible before these leaders start gapping them out. But up the front, it is getting very heated now as Todd Max,
Rothie on the point.
Rothie's up there at the front. And I was trying to see who that was a little bit further back. There was a car getting very, very squiggly. It was Chris Finley, sorry. Just eyes failing me there with the Simboys colours. But a few cars just getting very, very twitchy on the exit. And that high line is looking a little bit perilous tonight.
It is, especially when they're sort of arcing down from that top line. You've got to be careful it doesn't oversteer. You can see some of the cars are like wiggling a little bit up there with just controlling that oversteer with the throttle. It's a shame that I was going to mention that we've got the police car out there again, but unfortunately I think he's decided to park it after the damage from that crash.
Yeah, it's been defected, unfortunately, from the damage side. No chance of getting back out there tonight. Big shame. Hopefully we'll see them back next time. Hopefully getting a longer race in there. Just been watching Troy Davidson running through the field, and he's been running right on the low line, almost touching the apron, and has caught the apron a couple of times and somehow kept the car in control. But it is a perilous act that can often lead to great speed, but all it takes is one little twitch and you'll find yourself having a disastrous moment as it gets a little bit tail happy coming out of 2 there onto the back straight.
They're doing a very good job of managing the car at the moment. It does seem to be a little bit not so much planted in the corners and wiggling a little bit, but they're doing a really good job of managing it.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I mean, like, the rear is looking really, really loose tonight, and you know, some drivers they like to have a car that's a little bit tail happy, a little bit rear happy, and you know, they feel more comfortable with a loose race car. It just doesn't suit everybody, and if you're just not on it, it's very easy to get caught out with a very tail happy race car. As we see Davidson just almost having a moment there. He's been on the edge of adhesion every single lap I've been watching him, and the cars are just looking really, really unsettled out there. Some great drives going on throughout the field. Everybody doing a really good job of keeping the car in the right place, because they must be having to counter steer a couple of times through the corner just to get the car through and get it pointing in the right direction, almost drifting it through the corners because of the amount of tail sliding that's going on. and you're tail sliding at over 280 kilometers per hour, ladies and gentlemen, and that really does make for a hard night of work as we jump on board right here, and you'll get to see with Gary Wellman exactly how much we're using that steering wheel and just how much input, how much work you have to do to keep the car pointing in, well, fairly the right direction. Peter Madison is just up on this high side at the moment, a little bit out of focus, and just see just how much work is going on there.
It was a good little bite of counter steer there. We'll do the cockpit view here. We'll pretend that Gary's got a camera in his helmet as he's looking out the windscreen.
Well, we can't confirm or deny that Gary Wellman is a cyborg. We may have had a camera installed in him. So it's a really good driver's eye view, and it's something that you sort of have to get a bit of a feel for it. When you're driving in a sim, you sort of get used to these camera angles a lot, but when you're looking at them from a outside perspective, it looks a lot more calm than it actually is sometimes. But even saying it looks calm at the moment, it doesn't look that calm. It is really, really jittery out there. The car does not look planted. Every time just going through those corners, there's just a little bit of steering just going in there, a little bit of counter steer on the exit, a little bit of tweaking it through the corners just to get it in the right position, just so you don't lose it coming out of those exits. And there's a lot of work going on for all of these cars at the moment. 26 cars out on track. Adam Malone, he started from pit lane. I think he may have had a technical issue than the number 3. He is 12 laps down, unfortunately, but we're 3 wide for a moment. Peter Madison was sort of thinking about it.
So I noticed from there that every time they exit turn 4, there's always a little bit of counter steer off the corner. So it's definitely getting a little bit loose off the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, turn 4 is looking like the perilous point tonight, and the fact that we are now 16 laps in and we've not seen a caution is brilliant stuff from these drivers, because every time I see them exiting turn 4, I think, oh, that's it, that car's going to be gone, and somehow they keep it in the right place and it doesn't get wrecked.
It's almost speedway style, isn't it, really? Hanging it out on the right rear.
Absolutely.
Dirt speedway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Some of these guys have some dirt experience. I don't, so I'm useless at that kind of thing. But yeah, it really can pay off on a track like this, just having that little bit of confidence with the counter steer, with just hanging it out and just able to get the car sailing through. This front pack is furious at the moment as we see Chris Finley just dropping it below the line again, and they're really playing with fire going through these corners at Atlanta, dropping it below that white and red line. When you get below that apron, it gets very flat very quickly, and it causes a lot of air to rush underneath the car and can make it very, very tricky to control. But they are controlling it at the moment, which is great to see. As we go 3 wide across the quad oval, Peter Madison up on the high side, Aaron Dillon in the middle for a couple of moments, and then they link back up 2 by 2. Low line's gaining a fair bit of power now.
The number of drivers just content just to sit on that low line at the moment. Not too many takers on the high line. Interesting that we've got sort of like 2 packs as well. We've got that first pack of 13 cars, and then Aidan Schultz leads that next little pack of cars from 14th through to, I think, about maybe 20th? 19th.
24th, I think.
24th?
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. 19th, and then we've got a smaller pack with Darren McKenzie, 20th to 24th.
Yeah, interesting. Darren McKenzie's sort of, I think, just choosing to run at the back there, or maybe he got separated from the pack early and lost a bit of the draft. Yeah, I think Barb is trying to give Michael Ladder a bit of a push as well, just trying to close the gap to McKenzie.
As we might want to jump to the front because it's starting to go a little bit racy up here as people are starting to swap a couple of positions. Just looking at the side of Todd Maxfield's car, and he has got quite a lot of scraping going on down the side of that thing. It's taken a fair amount of impact there.
Yeah, I saw it earlier where he sort of got a little bit loose and he ended up hip checking the 45 of Wellman. So you can see Wellman's got a corresponding bit of damage on the inside of his car. And that was, yeah, unfortunately, Simboy's teammates getting into each other a little bit earlier.
Boys, they love to race hard, and that's the perils of it sometimes when you're racing hard like that. Troy Davidson and Aaron Dillon swapping leads there and getting a couple of bonus points, and I think we may be joined by Mr. Mark Johansson.
Ah. You might have got caught out by the earlier started time, did he?
Yes, I did. Definitely got caught out tonight, so I do apologise. And this league group, as you guys are saying, it's really starting to get racing.
Yeah, it's been some really good racing in your absence, Mark, and we've seen some really good pack racing tonight and clean racing as well for these 24 laps so far in this race. And it's been your typical Atlanta fare, but of course when you've got these V8s with the big rear wings on them, they can run multiple lines a lot easier, and they've been sort of running very well, sort of 2x2. But this front pack has been really, really furious stuff. The front pack, though, is made up of a lot of sim boys at the moment. You've got Wellman, Maxfield, Donnelly, Davidson, Priest, Dillon, Finley up there. So the top 7 are dominated by a single team at the moment, and that is sim boys.
Just let me go to the top of the stands with the sniper rifle. I can sort that out. They just seem to keep growing each week, Carl, Matt.
Yeah, it's we need to put some Simboy bait down and maybe set some traps for them. Because they're just pests, aren't they? They just keep coming back. But no, it's good to see them out in strength.
Ruffy.
How did Ruffy say Black Crate Ruffy had a big moment and was sideways coming into turn 1? Had a little bit of help from Peter Matson, and I just wonder if somebody maybe just caught the wall, and it did. It was Troy Davidson just caught the wall in front of Ruffy, caused a checkup and caught both Ruffy and Matson out, but they did a great job of surviving those cars and actually keeping them going in a relatively straightish line, keeping them up to speed because they've not lost much position. Really, really good driving there from everybody. And, great save there by Craig Ruffy.
Another one
is up in the wall.
Yeah, I just seen that he was very, and again, so that would have done some heavy damage to that right-hand side.
We still remain green here for the moment, but the 777 will be wounded for sure after that big old lick to the wall. And this has given the 161 of Joshua Maynard the chance to come flying up the order in I think his first time on the ovals in the V8s, and he's having a fantastic run at the moment up there at the front of the field and could possibly work his way up into the lead. But it is absolutely nose to tail now, and that's really caught the rear pack close up as well. So from first down to 14th position, there's 1.7 seconds covering the field. So barely a blink of an eye covering most of the field at the moment. It is really starting to heat up. And I think the tyres are starting to get into that nice warm temperature where they start acting a little bit like overly chewing gum. They're not very good at giving you a solid tyre through the corners because quite a few people are starting to struggle.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. Just seen Dwayne Priest there into the wall too. And that's allowed Aiden to close right up on the rear end of him now.
It's been it's been a messy couple of laps, but everybody's kept it pointing in the right direction and kept it running, importantly. So we have not seen a caution flag. Crucial stuff.
Another. I just missed Craig Groffey into the back of someone there.
Gary Wellman.
Gary Wellman, was it? I just couldn't pick the second green car. Sorry, Carl.
That's all right. Let's see if we get the replay. Weird. They just dropped pace there.
Yeah, Gary seemed to drop a whole bunch of pace. Just see there, and then
Kind of sort of was starting to go, and when Craig got him, but yeah, it's definitely dropped a lot of pace.
Yeah, just really weird. I mean, I've just gone back and I'm still watching it, and the same thing, and it just almost stalled out on him. Really weird looking on that one from Gary Wellman. Maybe just got out of the draft pack a little bit, got a little bit of more front air on it, and it just stalled the car out a little bit as it hit the air, and it just, and we're going to get a caution because we've got a car flying as Shane Roffey is sent tumbling through the field. And how was that not a bigger wreck than we got? That was a huge, huge moment as Shane Roffey went flying. Landing on the roof of one of the Pinnacle cars. Oh. Greg Spencer taking full force of that Rogue Sim Sports car on the roof. And somehow, Justin Whitcher just missed that. That was a massive accident that I don't know how it wasn't bigger.
Yeah, very lucky to stay up in the air and let those lead cars through. But you see there, he just got a bit waggly and he's just moved up ever so fraction, and that's got who is it? Peter Madsen. Yeah, I just missed the name. Into the side of him and turned him into the fence, and that was all over Red Rover. Mars, here we come.
Greg Spencer just absolutely had a car on his roof there, and I think he may have gotten away with that.
Sorry, that was too funny to not watch that again.
Yeah.
Poor old Greg's just driving along out of nowhere, and boom, there's a car.
Tell you what, it's lucky they don't do windscreen damage in the.
It's like something out of the movie Twister, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I tell you, watch from Justin Whitcher's perspective as well, because that was a very close shave for Whitcher. And I wonder if Greg Spencer actually is in for a long old pit stop. So I wonder if he's getting some repairs done, or possibly praying to somebody, because that was a very close shave. Justin Whitcher as well. He just millimeters away from disaster. You'll see it here. You'll get a full view of the car landing on his teammate's roof. Book. And then somehow the car rolled out of his way.
And I can tell you guys, I've just been done a quick race down the pit lane, and Greg has 15 seconds worth of damage out of that. How? I don't know. I think he may have been praying to some type of god.
Yep, I mean that maybe some new roof structure needs to go on there. That was very, very big. And look, Shane Roffey, that was a horrific accident for him. Big shame, because he was having a good run up there. Not usually one for the ovals. We saw Shane out covering for one of the other Rogue Sim Sport drivers while he recovers and gets better. And big shame to see that car getting so badly mangled, and that's going to be the end of his race, I imagine. He might be able to get it back out in some form, but it's going to be a long old repair for the 61, because I think every panel on that car is now damaged. So it's a long old recovery for that thing as they try and get it down out of the netting above the racetrack with a broom, and try and get it back to terra firma.
One for sale, one slightly used Mustang, only driven by a little old lady on Sundays.
Pace car is pulling in. Joshua Maynard's going to launch us away. He didn't come down pit lane, so he stuck it out there. And he gets away for his first restart up the front and pulls away nicely. Gets a good launch ahead of the rest of the field. And I wonder how many people have taken advantage of some fresh tyres or just tipped the car up. The tyres will have cooled down, which will be a huge bonus. But you've just got to get the car back up to racing speeds. Now get everything back into race mode, reset yourself and get back into the rhythm. So we'll see the cars back in action now. Lap 37 of 134 up the front. It is Joshua Maynard. Is he going to make it across the lap? No, he's just going to miss out as Aaron Dillon takes the lead from him as they come across the line. And we go back to racing here. 96 laps remaining here tonight for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my Private Cellars.
Just looking further back in the pack there, guys. Adam Malone had a bit of speed there. He's now sitting on the tail of Kobe Jordan. So nice little bit of speed after that stop for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, Adam's about 11 laps down at the moment after something happened at the start. So he's just in damage control mode, you got to say, at the moment, just trying to get some points on the board for Southern Stars. Hopefully that can happen and can just avoid all the trouble and maybe pick up a fair few points tonight. See what can be done. At the moment, it's 0-1-3 of Aaron Dillon in the lead for the Sim Boys. Kay Donnelly, Todd Maxfield, Troy Davidson up in the top four, all Sim Boys. Then Craig Roffey up there in fifth position. Joshua Maynard, Chris Finley, Justin Whitcher, Tom Pritchard and Dwayne Priest. That's the top 10 at the moment. As we get back to the pack racing and everybody is closed up this time, we've got a nice solid train of cars. We see Aidan Schultz in the Golden Octopus car battling it out with Dwayne Priest at the moment and Justin Whitcher down there. This is for 10th position at the moment, so this is the battle for the top 10 spot, and a crucial position in these races. If you can get yourself inside the top 10, sitting towards the back of the pack, you can be in a really good position as the race starts to come towards the tail end, because you can get yourself a nice big draft and find yourself flying up the order at a vast rate of knots if you time it right.
Yes, we can. And the person out there with the speed at the moment is Aidan Schultz. He's hanging tough on that outside line. Looks like Justin Whitcher has just decided to move up there and try and join him.
Yeah, we have seen that outside line sort of working quite well, but then looks like maybe just a little bit of tyre heat creeps in a little bit, and then it just starts to fall away after a few laps or so. And it's a perilous night tonight for these drivers, because it's like the cars are just all so twitchy. Every time I see them, I think there's somebody going to go around. Every time they manage to save it. Really good racing by these guys, but does not make for easy driving, as Joshua Maynard just drops down to the inside lane. It looks like he's got to come in a pit lane. He mistimed his stop, obviously. He's got to come in for a green flag stop, and that's going to be painful in the race. So that's a little bit of a rookie error on the ovals, you got to say, just catching him off guard. But he did get a lap led, so a little bit of a bonus point, and well, still a long way to go in this race.
Yeah, but here at Atlanta, it doesn't take much for you to end up a lap down. So he may be lucky. Just depends how quick he can get in and out of that pit lane. As for switching this car, I've just been watching further back and these front guys. It just seems like once they get down on that triple line there and on the inside, it really gets the car loose, and we have seen that with the NASCAR here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the thing with the line here is it's such a thick line down on the apron there. It sort of goes down onto the actual apron itself. So you've got the actual banked part of the track, and it goes flat all of a sudden. And if you go a little bit too low on that line, it can really catch you out as you start to drop below the banking, and you start hitting the flat of the corner, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a very unenviable position, with a load of air getting underneath the car, and finding yourself very, very, very wibbly.
And it wouldn't help if you're down there too, being so close to someone and getting their dirty air. You'd really want to be right up under that tail, and to get a clean flow of air back over the bottom of your car.
Absolutely, as we see Joshua Maynard dropping down a lap with Peter Madsen as well. Madsen obviously got quite a bit of damage from that earlier incident. He got off relatively unscathed. We are still waiting for air traffic control to get in touch with us to let us know where Shane Roffey is currently orbiting. If you do see a car in the low stratosphere, please let us know and we'll try and fetch it.
Again, Carl, we're seeing the racing that we've come to expect from these guys. Good, hard, clean racing. The one caution so far, I believe, is it? Or have we had a second?
Yeah, just the one. Just the one. It's because we're up here talking, Mark. That's what it is. They've got it safe out on track. They don't have us to worry about.
That's it.
Yeah, just the one caution. Just a couple of caution laps. So it's been a very, very good green race so far at Atlanta, and we're seeing some really good pack action. It's very much disliked, this track, by a lot of drivers, unfortunately, and I don't know why, because I absolutely love the new Atlanta. I find it like a super speedway, but on a sort of 2-mile track. It is a very, 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 very different. And we got contact between Mackenzie and Maxfield, and that's going to collect a couple of other cars. Will we get the caution flag flying, or will they save it? They save it. Todd Maxfield somehow saved that one. But we've got a huge checkup going on. People damage. Dwayne Priest saw a car on the infield as well. I think that might have been Todd Maxfield spinning around, but didn't bring out the caution flag. And that is painful for those cars. They're getting caught up in that incident. As we see there, Maxfield gets launched into the wall, comes down, collects his teammates. Justin Whitcher, again, I don't know where he's been getting his lucky rabbit's feet, but he is obviously doing it right, getting him in the graveyard on a Friday night. It's going well for him, because he managed to miss that carnage as well.
Yeah, he just got through that. I think I might have to go have a chat with him post race to see where he's getting them from, because I definitely need a few.
Yeah, exactly. I could do with a couple of those, because my luck's never that good. No, look, really good situational awareness there, just keeping himself out of trouble. But that's completely broken the field up as well. Up the front, it is Aaron Dillon, Kate Donnelly, and Troy Davison, with Aidan Schultz, Darren McKenzie, and Craig Roffey. They are the front pack at the moment, broken up with Todd Pritchard, Kim Roffey, Kobe Jordan, Justin Whitcher. But the field is absolutely divided at the moment. And I might just throw to you for a couple of moments, Mark.
Yeah, no worries. Let me. Sorry, just had a cat decide to attack me.
Yes, we've got quite a bit of separation now. We've got this leading pack of 6 cars, and then we've got another just over 2 seconds now back to the next group of cars, I think, which is Gary Wellman is 7th. It's the first one of those cars. So I no doubt those 5 cars there will be working together and trying to close up the gap and get back up to the front.
Tell you now, Matt, Mackenzie is really putting the pressure on Aidan Schultz on that outside line. He's right up under that tail wing But it's definitely still the inside line that's working. And I don't think you're going to see those sim boys break up anytime soon. So it may have to be that last car, and my cameras have decided to go all crazy. Craig Roffey to get up there and help those two and make 2 rows of 3.
Yeah, yeah. The 3 cars down the bottom are working together, and this is the 2 up the top.
You can see there, Craig Roffey just ever so slightly starting to drop back from these other 5. So he definitely needs to try and get up and join one of these queues. And we can see here Aiden's deciding to go try and take it 3 wide.
Yeah, Aaron Dillon decided to come up to the top line. He's trying to control both lines. Hasn't worked at the moment, as I think Schultz and McKenzie are going to get a good run. And will they drop down? Yes, they will. Yep, I think they'll stick to the bottom line now.
You see the work that they put in getting that top line to work, and they really had to get back down onto that low line. And as we can see, McKenzie now moves out to try and get a run on Schultz.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he was just trying to get a run or if he saw maybe in his mirror that Dylan went high and so he decided to get in front of him. I think Darren's really trying to sort of run a different, unique sort of angle into the corner and try and get the speed. He's decided to try and make a run for the lead.
We've seen this from Darren McKenzie before, though. He tends to run a slightly different line, and we can get some really good pace out of it and actually start to break a lead up in a race like this as well. And look, it could be one of those tonight, so we'll see if it actually works out. But when you've got a car on the inside, it kind of just stops you from being able to run that sort of perfect line. So he's trying to get that right line working, but just can't quite get it with all those pesky cars down underneath him.
Yeah, he seems like he's trying to diamond the track, and which is really, as you were saying, a dirt speedway type of racing where you try and diamond the track. But as you said, Carl, you just can't get that angle that he wants with those cars on that low line. And I tell you what, there's definitely no love lost here. We can see the guys there playing little bits of chicken, coming down or moving up to try and get that side draft working.
Yeah, there is plenty of there's a nice little bit of door paint swapping there, a little bit of door banging, and they are really racing each other hard. But going back to the diamonding, Mark, it's a very different tactic, isn't it? And it's a very different way of taking the corner. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, well, the idea is you get up as high as you can and dive down across that. Oh, contact! Sorry, contact there, and that moves McKenzie up
on the quad oval, but McKenzie holds that position still. Somehow keeps that car there.
Yeah. He's done well to hold it.
You feel like there's a caution brewing up here. That's for sure.
It's not like we get a sixth sense about that kind of thing, is it? No, it's very much really hard racing on lap 62. He's still got 71 laps remaining, remember? So, you often see this where the aggression just gets tempered up a little bit in a situation like this, and especially when there's been a little bit of contact between people, that's when the aggression can rise a little bit. At the moment, it's the 52 of Aidan Schultz in the Golden Octopus entry, leading up at the front, ahead of the United Electrical Solutions Simboy of Aaron Dillon in second place, well, joint second place with the Southern Stars entry of Darren McKenzie up there in joint second, you got to say, at the moment.
Yeah, well, 1 minute McKenzie's got the nose in front, then Aaron Dillon's got his nose back in front. So, yeah.
It just depends which bit of track you're on to who's in second at the moment. Every time you look, it's a different car. But they're starting to sort of just ease off a little bit. I think they're finding their rhythm, finding their lines that they want to run. And they're sort of just letting each other have a little bit of room. but all it takes is just a momentary lapse of concentration or just a little bit of a late turn-in, and they will be back at it again in no time.
Yeah, both those cars are starting to look a little bit loose in the rear end. So, although they, as I say that, they now start to settle down.
And they've been joined up there as well now. That second pack has managed to close the gap on the back of that front group now. So all of a sudden, it's instead of 6 cars, it's going to be 10, 11, maybe 12 cars.
Yeah, it's the top 12 at the moment. Peter Jones is keeping the tail happy at the moment. And first time out that I can recall for Peter Jones as well. So nice to see another new car out on track. And new face as well up there. And he's got he's got Adam Malone just behind him, as I say, who's just trying to get some points tonight. And he's managed to move himself up into 22nd position, so it is working somewhat, but not much you can hope for when you're starting about 13 odd laps down.
Yeah, and in that second group, you've got two of Mackenzie's teammates. Tom Pritchard now up in the 7th, and I believe Adam Malone is there. Yep, there he is on screen. Adam Malone is trying to join him.
Yeah, they're sort of trying to figure out what they can do on track at the moment. A few cars are sort of jostling for positions, and some cars I can see are sort of letting others get in front of them because they've got front end damage. Others are sort of tucking in and sort of knowing they've got the damage, so sort of getting into a position where they can draft and not have to worry about aero damage. And others are just very much using the side draft to their advantage. Up at the front is still this top 3 of Schultz and then Dylan McKenzie still battling it out lap by lap. It's a different person in second every time I glance, and they are still riding so close to each other. Great to see them actually holding that line and not having an incident, because it's such a tricky skill to learn. It's almost like formation flying driving in a pack like this. It's a very difficult thing to do.
Definitely is, and just looking at the last lap times, the one before this, Roffey was actually the fastest car out there, but now it's back up to Aaron Dillon is the fastest car out there on that last lap. So fast laps are being changed all the time.
Yeah, it's very much looking like whoever can get that sort of decent draft run, if they can get a good slipstream behind another car, they can really take advantage of it as it gets all so close as they go through, as they squeeze their way through the pack there as it goes 3 wide for a couple of moments. Joshua Maynard up there just falling down a second lap now, unfortunately, after that green flag stop.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Once you start to laps start to fall off you around here, you tend to end up getting caught out again very quickly.
Yeah, it's such a high pace track for such a short track as well, Mark. It's a very, very quick place.
Yeah, it definitely is, and with the resurfacing of this through earlier in the year, late last year, it's actually made it a little bit quicker too. As you said earlier, Carl, it now actually races like a super speedway. The asphalt that they laid down here is very an open asphalt, which allows the water, should there be any rain in real life, to drain off the surface to the drainage system underneath the asphalt.
And that creates a little bit of a sort of almost a grippier track sometimes, and it just sort of gives you that opportunity to get that real nice speed through the corners, and it is absolutely flying. And I mean, look at the sky today over at Atlanta. It looks like it might possibly perspire. There may be a few drops of rain landing out there if iRacing deemed to add it at some stage. That could be an interesting feature for the oval races. We could get rain delays. That would be fantastic for the broadcast, wouldn't it?
No, because we'd be all socially confused by the time we come back. because we'd be at my Private Cellars.
Absolutely, that's what you need in a rain delay, for sure. And look, big thank you to them, of course, and all our other title sponsors for the Australasian Supercar eSeries: United Electrical Solution, Hot Toddy Heating Installations, RKJ Web Services, Whitcher Electrix, of course. And I always feel like I'm missing one, and I'm sure I'm not. But I always get to that stage where I'm like, I'm sure there's another one, because I think it's us on the call sheet, and it always throws me out when I'm talking about it, because it always catches me out.
Oh, sorry, Carl. Aidan Schultz is in this lap for a fuel stop.
So, we are going to see a whole heap of cars coming down pit lane for some green flag stops. Dylan coming in. Did Gabe Donnelly make it? No, he abandoned it. He looked like he was going to come down the lane, but he decided to abandon it. He had too much speed. And it is just Schultz, Dylan, Roffey, and, well, the two Roffeys, Craig and Kim Roffey, coming into the lane. So it's now on. Green flag stops are really going to be crucial. You can make up so much time or lose time in a green flag stop mark. It is a pinnacle thing to get it in the right position.
Yeah, definitely. And Mackenzie's in this time, boy. I just heard him call it on the radio.
Ooh, and you can see there a big puff of smoke down at the start of the pit lane as he locks up his wheels, all for drifting as he gets into the lane, but looks like he might have got it down to speed in time. You've got to get the car slowed down, of course. These cars do have limiters on them, so you see the rave lights going on, and get the Darude ready to start banging out some tunes to the flashing lights. But it is always tricky to get the car slowed down, because you're not really using the brake around this track, so you stamp on cold brakes hoping that they're going to stop you. They usually do the job, but you often get the tyres locking up. So it's always a tricky situation to be in. Main thing is going to be coming out in a group of cars. If you can come out with a nice group of cars, you're going to be in a good situation. If you come out on your own, you are going to be in a horrible position. So green flag stops are going to be really important to get yourself back out in a pack. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck and finding yourself dropping down the order at a vast rate of knots.
Yep. Now, Roffey has just passed Mackenzie. Mackenzie's coming out as he came out of the pits. But the big winner there is Roffey, because he's been able to get himself in front of Schultz.
Yeah, Craig Roffey had a very good transition time down the lane, and I just wonder if he took a little bit less fuel. He was stationed for about 27.5 seconds, Aidan Schultz about 30 seconds, so maybe just a little bit more fuel in the tank for Aidan Schultz, because of course they're not going to be able to make it to the end from here, so they will have to make one more stop. So the question is do you just take a little bit of fuel to get you to about lap 110, or do you take a bit extra and get yourself to like lap 120? So it's always the question, you know, you can gain or lose quite a bit of time by having a small amount of fuel in there. But you can see the gap has closed up so quickly. Aidan Schultz had a beautiful gap to Craig Roffey that just slipstreamed him right back up there with Aaron Dillon and Darren Mackenzie, and all four of those cars have linked up perfectly now.
Yeah, definitely. Look, just my answer to that would be I'd take the punishment now, get as much fuel into that car as I can, and see what happens. You've got the option there. Then if the guy's in front of your pit and you want to pull into the pit, you've got that option. But also, if you want to go long and just wait and see if that late race caution comes out, you've got that option too.
Absolutely. One car that took a tiny amount of fuel is Justin Whitcher. He just chucked a couple of litres in the tank to get him to the next stage. As we see Gary Wellman having a moment here. Let's see what's happened to the mean green Simboy machine of Gary Wellman as cars rejoining the track, and it just causes a check up in front of him. Has to take avoiding action, drops it down, keeps the speed up, and sails his way through. That is a veteran move there from the multiple race winning Gary Wellman.
You're very lucky boy there, but the that didn't step out. You could see there that it looked like it wanted to, and that's not a very smart rejoin by those two cars. That could have been big.
Yeah, it's not an insignificant speed there, and that would have been a big accident. We would have seen a secondary car making contact with the atmosphere tonight and possibly launching to a satellite position. We currently have a car out there somewhere in the stars. If you do see it, please let us know. We will try and collect our space debris. Hopefully we will find that Mustang soon.
I personally think it's already on its way to Pluto.
Will Pluto be there, or will it be a JPEG? We'll find out for sure. But Justin Whitcher leads at the moment. Getting back to more relevant things, I should say. 14 seconds the gap from Justin Whitcher to Craig Roffey. But Justin's all out there on his lonesome. He came in for a short splash and dash. He's going to have to come in a lot earlier than these guys. So he's trying something very different with his strategy in the number 12. And, well, if you're sort of going to go off luck tonight, I wouldn't discount Justin Whitcher, because he's been a very lucky boy indeed, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. But I also wouldn't count out that 40. Is it 45?
The green one, the Mr. Gary Wellman.
Yes, that's it. I just forgot where I was for a minute and wasn't sure whether it was the 045 or the 45 here. But yeah, but you know, you got to say he's probably one of the luckiest people out on the track. But tonight it seems to, as you said, Gary. I mean, Justin's had all his rabbit's foot in the car with him.
Yeah, he has used up those lucky rolls for sure, so you might not have any more luck left in the number 12 Pinnacle entry. The Whitcher Electrix, RKJ, my Private Cellar, of course, sponsored car, and well, you'd be pretty happy with just a finish tonight, I'm sure, with those close calls. Gary Wellman, meanwhile, is trying to close the gap down on those cars ahead. He's got about 4 seconds to make up on Aaron Dillon at the moment, but he has some big guns behind him. He has got Kay Donnelly and Troy Davidson with him, Kim Roffey as well, working in that group. And if those guys can work together, they might be able to close the gap relatively quickly and stop those other cars from running away.
Yeah, just looking. I'm just keeping an eye on these guys from second to sixth, and they're starting to come up on some lap traffic now. So it's going to slow them down a little bit.
You've got to sort of time the perfection, just get that slingshot made, and that can gain you a little bit of time, but often you've got to drive a different line and that loses you time crucially. So there's little things that cost you in a race like this, and all of these little things can make a big difference in a race like this. And a caution now could really make a difference for some drivers' nights and really ruin some other drivers' nights. So we're hoping to see a nice green flag run here to the end, because I think it'll be fascinating to see how this one works out. That group of 4 cars is closing in on Justin Whitcher, however. They've taken about half a second out of his lead since last time of speaking. It's now down to 13.5 seconds, the lead from first to second. But that group, if they keep working together, they should be able to close that gap and just make it a little bit harder for Justin Whitcher, who has got Chris Finley behind him and working quite well. Just drafting together, because Finley's got quite a lot of damage on the front, so very happy to sit in behind Justin Whitcher, and they can use a little bit more fuel as well. That's not a bad thing either.
No, definitely is not. Just seen a little bit of jumping out of line here, so maybe one of these cars are starting to get a little bit hot too, but I've not known these guys to do it. And Justin's in. Justin will be in this lap.
I did say he only took a splash of fuel to get him to the next stage of pit stops, so he brings it in now for his final stop. So Justin Whitcher is going to come in for his final stop now. So big gamble coming in with this many laps to go. If it goes green, it could pay off still, but this is really going to shuffle him down the order for the time being. Remember, he had about 14 seconds gap over the rest of the pack as they go sailing past him now. So it'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out, if we can actually get a good finish from that run. Meanwhile, it's Craig Roffey back up into the lead, starting from pole position. He's back in that place, in first position. He's got Aidan Schultz behind him. He's made up 23 positions tonight. The big mover and shaker, second biggest mover and shaker, is Darren McKenzie in third, 21 spots gained for the evening. So some big moves from the back to the front for those two boys, and they are sitting comfortably behind at the moment, just extending their stint a little bit and thinking about when they want to pop it down pit lane. If all four of these cars can get a really good pit stop with each other, they could very much win themselves the race, because they've got a 5-second gap over Kay Donnelly at the moment. And if these guys keep working together and just keep extending that gap, or at least keeping it from shrinking, they could be in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, definitely. And on lap 95, we've still got a little ways to go. We now have 15 cars on the lead lap, and we've only had 4 retirements from the race. So it's another good racing night tonight. So it'd be interesting to see if we do get another caution, and that'll bring Brian Brundle back onto the lead lap, and that will trap Justin Whitcher a lap down.
Yeah, Justin Whitcher needs to try and get into that lucky dog position just in case anything happens. Of course, he should get the wave around if anything does happen, so he will find himself back on the lead lap, but he's in an unenviable spot at the moment, because he can get to the end. He's in a sort of finalised position, but if a caution comes out, it could really ruin his race. Whereas some other drivers will be sitting there going, you know what, a caution wouldn't be too bad right about now. That could absolutely save my night from obscurity. I could go into the annals of history and find myself in a good position. So plenty of different thought processes going on throughout the field at the moment as they race around Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Georgia.
Yeah, just another interesting fact. Both Justin Whitcher and Tim Blundell had the fastest speed out there the last lap at 280 kilometres an hour. So they are definitely on the move, and we can see these lap cars split and let these front four have the clean run.
As Craig Roffey just gets tight through turns 3 and 4, runs up the line a little bit, and he gets caught out a little bit there, but everybody just about saves it. But I think we're going to see Roffey coming down the lane in the near future. But that was a big moment there. It just got a little bit of air cut off from the front of it as they were passing the lapped cars, and it really made the car a little bit twitchy. Schultz, Dillon and Roffey all into the pit lane, and Darren McKenzie sticks it out, so he's trying something different here.
Yeah, that was very close. Schultz nearly made contact with the rear end of Roffey's car there coming into that. Craig just seemed to be able to get that car pulled up a little bit better than Schultz, but good driving from both, or from all three of those guys to get those cars pulled up.
Absolutely, and they're going to get a full tank of gas now to get them to the end, and a few drivers will short fill it a little bit just to see if they can get a couple of bonus seconds. And one of those drivers, you can see Aidan Schultz, he's jumped Craig Roffey there, who is stationary for a long time, and I wonder if Craig Roffey might have got a penalty there, or maybe ticked the wrong box, because he is stationary for a long time. And I just get the feeling he might have got a speeding penalty, because he is not moving at all. That is disastrous for that front pack, because losing one of those cars loses you a little bit of extra speed, and that could be critical in tonight's race. as Craig Roffey looks like he got himself a speeding penalty there and had to serve that penalty. So that's a painful thing to have happen, and an easy mistake to make when coming into these pit lanes.
It definitely is, and we can see Justin Whitcher close right up onto the back of Aidan Schultz.
Yeah, that worked out really well for Justin Whitcher. You can see his idea has come to fruition, and often with these strategies we see the cars coming back out on track very close to each other, and it has worked out to perfection for Justin Whitcher. Two very different strategies, but they are paying off for the moment, and I imagine these cars will be filled just with enough fuel to get them to the line. No further than that though, and that's a crucial thing as well. If we get a green-white checker, we might need to see everybody coming down the lane again just to top it up with fuel. But as we saw a few weeks back at Pocono with Richard Tramco deciding to stay out and take the risk under the green white checking conditions, you can gain a lot of positions and a lot of road by staying it out and playing that risk advantage. If it all pays off, you can end up with a victory under your belt. So lots of different strategies still to come here tonight. Only 29 laps remaining here at Atlanta. We're 105 down, and we will be taking you to the end of tonight's race. We hope you've been enjoying this one, ladies and gentlemen, and please give the old subscribe button a bit of a hit and the like button a bit of a tap as well, just to let us know that we are doing our job over here at Performance E-Streaming. But it's been a very, very entertaining race so far, Mark.
Yeah, it definitely has. I'm just keeping an eye on Craig Roffey. Unfortunately, I think it's definitely been a penalty for him, and unfortunately that has now seen him go down 2 laps.
Yeah, it's a very, very painful thing to have happen when you get a penalty like that. It's a long old time stationary, and it costs you an awful lot of time and loses you an awful lot of positions as well. Currently up in the lead, as we say, Darren McKenzie, Kay Donnelly, and Troy Davison, Tom Pritchard, Gary Wellman, Kobe Jordan, Andy Barber, Tim Blundell, Chris Finley, and Peter Jones. So some good drives out there so far tonight, and still a long way to go. Still 27 laps and still a pit stop for many of these drivers to come.
Yeah, definitely a lot of these guys, at least the top 10, I'd say, will be definitely in pit lane soon. Darren McKenzie's now just started his 30th lap on this stint. So he's definitely not going to get another 27 laps out of that tank.
If he does, we're going to have to check it for fuel inside the roll cage, I think, because there's not much other ways you could get that thing home. Not much fuel saving you can do at Atlanta.
I don't even think you'd be able to get enough in the roll cage. I think maybe a few more may have his pockets full. But Mackenzie's out front, Kay Donnelly second, Troy Davison in third, Tom Pritchard in fourth, and that man that I said, Gary Wellman, up into fifth.
All it takes is an errant caution from here to the end, and these guys could be in a fantastic spot, finding themselves right up the front of the field and find themselves in a good position. So it's still a lot to play for at the moment. We've only got 9 cars on the lead lap as well, so a lot of those drivers who've made their final pit stop will be just biting their nails a little bit and hoping we don't see a caution, because a caution now would absolutely ruin their race.
Yeah, definitely. So the first driver down is Brian Blundell, Aaron Dillon, then Justin Whitcher and Aidan Schultz. So those two, that Whitcher and Schultz, will definitely not wanting to see the yellow flag out on track.
Yeah, very much so. It's crucial that it gets green to the end here for those drivers, for their pit stops to absolutely pay off. Of course, they will get the wave around, or should get the wave around at least. but it's going to be a tricky night to recover in just 22 laps, as we are running out of time very, very quickly here tonight. And well, this race is coming to its conclusions now. The final few laps of this race are underway, as we have 22 laps remaining here, 112 done here at Atlanta, and well, plenty of action still to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, as you said, Carl, there's still plenty of time for some big wrecks and launch a couple more satellite Mustangs. But yeah, as we've been saying, these guys that are a lap down, they definitely won't want to be seeing that caution come out. And it's been some great racing again tonight from these guys in the supercars.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a tricky car out there tonight, with the rear being so very skittish, and a lot of drivers doing a good job of keeping it in the right position. As I said, it just looked like a car tonight that looked very tricky to drive, especially as you were just exiting the corners. So it's great to see everybody doing such a good job of keeping the car in the right position.
Most definitely is.
Darren McKenzie up in the lead at the moment. He's got a healthy lead of about 5.6 seconds, but needs to come down the lane, and he'll be coming down the lane in the next 3 or 4 laps, I would say. It won't be long until he makes his final pit stop. From Kay Donnelly, Troy Davison, Gary Wellman, Tom Pritchard up in 5th, Kobe Jordan in 6th, 7th, Andy Barber, Tim Blundell in 8th, Chris Finley 9th, and Tim Blundell up in P10. So we tick down the laps here, and the race is, well, it's a bit of a holding pattern, you got to say, but everybody's doing a good job of just keeping the cars in the right places at the right time, and still plenty of chaos to come with those final pit stops. Say we're expecting about 10 cars to come down pit lane for their final service, probably in less than 4 or so laps. So it won't be long until they all need to come down the lane and get those pit stops made for that final tank of gas to get them to the end. Of course, they won't need to stay stationary for as long. They can just come in, chuck a splash of fuel down the car's gullet, and get right back out into the racing.
Probably only need about 10 to 15 litres of fuel to get them home, and probably even less if they don't want to. If they want to have a chance of hoping that there's not a green-white checker.
Yeah, I think a couple of people have just taken that option. McKenzie comes into the lane. So Darren McKenzie, 40 laps in that stint, so pretty much bang on a regular stint for him. He's going to come down the lane now, and did a good job of extending it that far. So he's going to come in, get some fuel, and get back out on track. He should be coming out around about where Aidan Schultz and Kim Roffey are. So we'll keep an eye on that once he does appear from track, as he starts working his way down the pit lane. Still under, still got to keep the car on the speed limit. And now you can finally unleash it once you get past that white line with the green cones. But you've got to keep it on the track as well. Keep it on the inside here and not let it wander up past that line, and then get it back out on the racetrack. And Darren McKenzie's done a good stop there. He's actually found himself ahead of Aaron Dillon by about 3 seconds. So a decent pit stop there for Darren McKenzie.
McKenzie's done really well there, because as he come back onto the racetrack, Whitcher and Schultz was just coming through the tri-oval.
Yeah, he only needed about 15 seconds worth of fuel. So that's going to be a nice little splash in there. I imagine some people might be a little bit less as well. We should see a whole spatter of cars coming in, which we do. Cade Donnelly, Troy Davidson down into the lane. Can Tom Pritchard extend? Don't think so, but we'll see. He does with Kobe Jordan. So just extending it a little bit further. Good job from Tom Pritchard and Kobe Jordan.
Definitely a great job. 41 laps on that tank so far. So they'll be at 42 if they come in the next time by. But the one person that's done a fair stint is Tim Blundell. He's got 43 laps under his belt, so he's done extremely well.
Yeah, the 81 having a good drive out there as he finally pulls it into the lane and gets a top up of gas to get him to the end. Up the front, Tom Pritchard, Kobe Jordan keeping it out for another lap, but I imagine they'll be pulling it into the lane very, very shortly.
I do believe they're coming in this time by.
Jordan manages to stick it out for another lap, so nice job of fuel saving from Kobe Jordan. He's going to get a lap led here, but I imagine he's going to need to bring it down the lane very, very quickly. 43 laps on this stint, so he will not have enough fuel to do another lap, I'm sure. He'll be pulling it in this time and getting his service done, but he's got himself an always crucial bonus point.
Yeah, he did call it coming in as we see the brake lights on, and he pulls it to the lane.
Meanwhile, up the front of the field, Darren McKenzie and Aaron Dillon are now regaining the battle. We saw this battle earlier on in the race, side by side, lap after lap, battling it out, swapping positions, and, well, it's back on. These two have been fighting for, it feels like, about 100 or so laps. They have really been playing hardball with each other, and once again it comes back to these two. They have got themselves a fairly decent lead over Troy Davidson in third position, about 2.5 seconds back from the leaders. Cade Donnelly in fourth, he's about 4 seconds back. So they've managed to build themselves up a nice gap here, and they could be in a really decent spot if we go green to the end.
Well, only 10 laps left, so the guys aren't really racing that close. They're racing really in groups of two. So it's going to be interesting to see if someone does have a little bit of a slip up, or lap car may play a role in it. And as I say that, I'm just watching Whitcher and Schultz, and Matheson goes into the wall and turns 1 and 2.
Keeps the car pointing in the right direction, crucially, though, but this battle is on as well. This is for 5th and 6th position at the moment, so very much a high points paying position, and I'm sure both drivers will be very keen to be the best of the top 5 of these drivers, as we are trying to buy some very, very quick fellas out here tonight, as well as a whole host of much quicker older fellas as well.
Ooh. Just as we switch back to the action at the front, Darren looked to move to block that move from Dylan, but just a fraction too slow. But this is another track, Carl. Would you rather be leading on the last lap, or would you be rather be that guy in second place?
Or very much depends on how much tyre you've got left, I think, and how confident you are to run it around that high line. I think if I was in Darren McKenzie's shoes, I'd be pretty happy to be in second place at the moment, just so I can slingshot to the line and get that advantage. But we know Darren McKenzie's not going to be one for sitting back too much. He will be fully at it again in the near future, and he's putting the pressure all over Aaron Dillon.
And we just see some lap cars to join there to try and make those two a a quartet.
Never a bad place to be, right on the leader's tail as a lapped car, because you find people being extra nice and kind and jumping out the way of the leaders, and all of a sudden you find yourself moving up places. It's a very, very sneaky skill to have in iRacing, but it pays off very, very well.
Most definitely does. And Justin Whitcher just got it really loose there coming out of turn 4, but was able to stay in front of Schultz. Time is starting to run out for these two with 4 laps to go, so it'll be interesting. I don't think they're going to be able to make up any positions. So it looks like it's the race is going to be between Dylan and Mackenzie up the front there.
Really unorthodox line there from Justin Whitcher. I was just sort of watching, and sort of, I think he made a bit of a mistake, or just got a little bit caught by Aidan Schultz going into 3 and 4, and just had to save the car. So it just shows these things are on a right knife edge right now, Mark.
Yeah, it just seems like Aidan gets just that little bit better run out of the turn. Again, he's done the same thing.
Contact at the front of the field. Contact between Darren McKenzie and Aaron Dillon, and that brings the caution flag out. Can Darren McKenzie save that car from much more damage? The engine's gone by the looks of it. Engine is gone. Just a little bit too close to each other there, coming at the corner, and very close contact between the two cars, and just sort of spun Aaron Dillon up in there. And I wonder, there was definitely a little bit of room between them, and I wonder if that was just a tiny bit too close, and just a little bit too tight there. Caused the netcode just to give the car a little wiggle, and then caused the incident to happen.
Yeah, I'll go with netcode, but it's some heavy damage there for Mackenzie.
Big shame for Darren McKenzie there, because he was having a solid run up there and was really doing well. Justin Whitcher's had to come in the lane because he needed to top up with gas for this green-white checker. I said a few people were going to be absolutely on the bubble for fuel. Justin Whitcher was one of them.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely want to get this back underway quick, because I think there may be a few more guys out there that may be on the bubble too. Not so much the lead guys, but the guys further down the back. Greg Spencer's one. Craig Roffey, depending on what he put in his tank the last time by. Adam Malone, again, depending on how much fuel he's put on board. So,
yeah, there's a couple that are going to be perilously close. I think Troy Davidson might be fairly tight on fuel, up in second now, and that could be one to watch out for. So it's 3 Simboys up the top with Dylan Davidson and Donnelly, 3 Ds there, and Aidan Schultz in the Golden Octopus car sits in 4th position, breaking that trio of Simboy cars. Kim Roffey having a solid night in 099 and doing the Rogue Simsports team proud and getting some solid points there up in that position if he can get the finish up there. Tom Pritchard up in 6th, having a very nice run. Gary Wellman, it's been a quiet night for Gary, as he's had a few very close calls, as Tom Pritchard does indeed come into the lane. He wasn't going to make it at the end either, so he had to bolt it down the lane just for a quick splash and dash too. But it's been a quiet night for Gary here, and could be an opportunity for him to sort of gain up a couple of positions. It's not been the same as last season where he was winning everything, but he has been super consistent so far this year.
yeah, definitely. And look, 2 laps, he's in 9th place. Anything can happen with these guys at the front. You know, we've seen some hard racing between the Sim boys, and I know Aidan will probably be sitting there and saying, "You keep racing hard, boys, and take each other out."
Very much so. So it's well, anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does. Pace car lights are out, and we are getting ready to get the restart here. It's the 013 up at the front of the field, going to be leading away with the 023 on his outside. The 2 Sim boys up the front. I think it's hot toddies is going to make it even hotter in their heating installations on these Sim boys cars as the pace car is about to pull in. And we're going to go back to green flag racing. It's going to be a green white checker here. So next flag will finish the race. As we go back to green flag racing, Dylan gets a great restart there. So does Kate Donnelly. Fantastic job from himself. Aidan Schultz just losing a little bit, but Gary Wellman siding his way up through the field as well. Wellman getting himself up into 4th position at the moment. He could find himself higher as Kay Donnelly's looking to make a move on Dylan here to the lead of the race as they're going to be coming around for the white flag. Side by side, the Sim boys go through 3 and 4. Dylan gets a little bit tight in the mid-corner. That's going to give Kate Donnelly a better run on the high side as they come up to the white flag. Final lap now. Into the corner we go. Aidan Schultz having a good run, starting to get some pace up. So is Gary Wellman. They're starting to close the gap a little bit. And they make contact. Dylan and Donnelly make contact. Wellman gets through. Wellman up there, but Aidan Schultz threads the needle, gets himself up there with Troy Davidson. Davidson in the lead. It's Davidson, Schultz, Wellman, Roffey up there. Who's going to take the win? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Who's going to get it? And it looks like it's Aidan Schultz, is it? We're waiting. And
Yes,
it is Aidan Schultz taking the victory in the Golden Octopus 52. As close as you like it. 8 millionths of a second between Aidan Schultz and Troy Davidson there. Absolutely nothing between those 2 cars. As they get to the line here at Atlanta.
I know there's one viewer out there that will be absolutely wrapped, and possibly 2. So, yeah, well done, Aidan, on the race win to bring that nice golden car to victory lane.
Great stuff there from Aidan Schultz. He is going to be super happy with that one, I am sure. As he does his well-deserved victory donuts. And, well, that's as close as you can get for a finish. Well, not as close as you can get. We've seen closer finishes in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, but very close indeed. Gary Wellman comes home in 3rd position, just behind his teammate Troy Davidson in 2nd. Kim Roffey having a solid night up into 4th. And Kobe Jordan up 22 positions in the 080, up in 5th position. He is going to be stoked with that as well.
Yeah, be some very happy people there. And as I said, Carl, you know, you can never ever count out Gary because, anywhere in that top 10 with a couple of laps to go, you've got to have in the back of your mind, where is he?
Absolutely. So let us go back and get a look at what happened there on that final lap. So I think it might have been, it was Kate Donnelly and Aaron Dillon made contact with each other just coming out of the corner. And I wondered if Troy Davidson might have just got into the back of Dillon a little bit. But no, it just looks like Donnelly's just gone down a little bit, caught the back of his teammate there. Heavy impact into the wall. The 2 Sim boys go. Big whack down right down into Kobe Jordan, actually. He got very lucky to get away with that one. And Justin Whitcher's lucky rabbit's foot again, paying off in droves. Gets him through that chaos at the end. somehow he manages to work it through, and up we go to the line. And well, you're going to see how close it can get. It is absolutely nose to tail. The draft starts happening. They get the run out the corner. Aiden Schultz times it to perfection there. Absolutely millimeter perfect to jump it up to that high line. Gets a beautiful run to the start finish line. And this is where it gets so very close, so very tricky to catch it, because it is very, very much a blink of an eye. It's less than a blink of an eye, in fact. It is absolutely nothing to get that close finish in. And yeah, absolutely nothing between those three cars, really. 56 thousandths of a second between Gary Wellman and Aiden Schultz. 1/10 of a second between Kim Roffey and Aiden Schultz. Really nothing between them. And as you see there, just a tiny, tiny nose ahead. The front splitter is all that separates those two cars. And Aiden Schultz takes victory here tonight. Let's run through the finishing order quickly before we jump over and chat to our top three. It's Aiden Schultz taking the win with Troy Davidson in second. Gary Wellman comes home third. Kim Roffey in fourth. Fifth for Kobe Jordan. Justin Whitcher comes home in sixth. Aaron Dillon seventh. Kate Donnelly eighth. Ninth for Chris Finley. Tim Blundell comes home in 10th on debut. Craig Roffey in 11th. 12th for Brian Blundell in 12th again. Another debut on the oval. Tom Pritchard in 13th. Greg Spencer 14th. 15th for Michael Latter. Andy Barber comes home 16th. 17th for Darren McKenzie. Joshua Maynard in 18th. 19th for Adam Malone. Adam Johnson brings it home 20th. Then it's Peter Madison, Peter Jones, Todd Maxwell, Dwayne Fritz, Shane Roffey, Noddy Tompkins, and Mitch McIntyre in 27th out early doors. All righty. Well, we have seen a very, very tight finish here tonight, but we'll start off with our third place finisher for the Sim Boys. It is the green flavour of Sim Boy. It's at 45. It's Gary Wellman. Gary, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a podium here at Atlanta.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. I didn't think I'd be here tonight, but yeah, things went my way at the end and got up here, so yeah, it's good.
Yeah, Mark absolutely said that you were coming, and you did not disappoint. It was looking like just a solid run out there at the end of tonight's race, and then all of a sudden the heavens opened as your two teammates made contact, and you found yourself sneaking your way through and just about missing that, and having a charge to the line.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't get any instant points, I don't think, so I missed a few wrecks again. So even those bonus points all helped at the end of the day. So I was happy for to miss all those. But yeah, I was having some weird disconnects through the race. My USB or something's disconnecting, so I was basically, my engine was cutting out. So it happened about 5 or 6 times. So I kept dropping back through the race. So that last caution sort of got me out of trouble a bit.
Yeah, we did see that. You just all of a sudden just lost drive, just out of nowhere on the straight, and we saw a big checkup having to happen. So obviously some kind of rig issue, obviously.
Yeah, it must be the USB hub or something, and the button that I've got mapped to my engine start or my ignition is mapped to that as well, and it just cuts it out. So yeah, I was sort of lucky I didn't get turned from behind a few times there, and managed to keep it going. And yeah, so third place, I'll take that as a win tonight, I think.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that's happened to, because it happened to me a few weeks back out of nowhere, and it caught me completely off guard. So I understand your pain and misery.
Pretty frustrating when you get those things. You know, you want to focus on the race, and then you're just stressing about who's behind you and who you're going to stuff up if something goes wrong again. But no, end of the day, it didn't cause a caution and got up here. So yeah, it was a good run in the end.
Absolutely. And look, another good point, so it's been a very consistent season for yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I've managed to sort of not get tangled up in any wrecks and keep it consistent. So yeah, I think like Troy last year, he was just showed that's what wins the championship. So that's the goal this year, to stay maybe top 5 every race and stay out of trouble.
I think not going on holiday wins a championship, but that's just really good run tonight, mate. Congratulations on P3. Great to have you back up here in the booth as well. We've missed you. Before I let you go, though, the personal shout out tonight will make Troy do the hard work.
Yeah, just the sponsors. Yeah, Hot Toddies and United Electrical, and yeah, you guys for the broadcasts and the series. It's all good fun, and congrats Aiden on the win, and Troy for second. It was good racing.
Absolutely. Great to have you up here, Gary. I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time, mate. Have a good relax after that one, and hopefully you can get that USB hub fixed.
Yeah, I'll hopefully have that sorted for next week because it's definitely no fun.
Absolutely. Gary Wellman there for Sim Boys, and coming home in third tonight. A good run for himself. Next up is another one of those Sim Boys. It is the red flavour, well, the pinkish red flavour of Mr. Troy Davidson. Troy, welcome back to the booth. Always a pleasure to have you up here, mate. Congratulations on a very, very close P2.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. Yeah, when Aaron and Cade come a cropper there, I thought, oh, I've got this one for sure. And then Aiden he was stuck on the back straight there, stuck down below the red line. And I thought, oh, no, he's in no man's land there. And then for some he just come out of nowhere and picked me on the line. So, no, it was a good fun race the whole way through, really.
He must have had that magical movie gear. He just dropped it down a gear ratio and all of a sudden got an extra 500 horsepower out of it.
Yeah, no, he definitely got a good run out of 3 and 4. And, yeah, I don't know what it was actually in the end, but there wouldn't have been much in it.
No, it was 0.008 of a
Yeah,
second.
well,
So, yeah,
She's,
very, very little in there at all. A solid run for you tonight. It looked like a really tricky track. I was watching you from the start, and every time I saw you, you were basically counter steering out the exit of 4 because the car looked like it was going sideways every time you came out of that corner.
Yeah, 4 was 2 and 4, mainly 4 though. It's sort of the steering went light and you just had to sort of prepare for it every lap. But it was all in all though, the actual track's really easy on tyres, so you could sort of it definitely wasn't really a tyre race. You could sort of really drive hard and knowing you had your tyres underneath you, no drama sort of thing there. But I thought there would have been a lot more carnage just with how loose it was out of 4. I thought cars would have been getting tangled up in each other, but she was clean the whole way through pretty much.
I know, we were shocked as well. So it's not just you that was surprised by that one. It did look like a handful, as you said, and it was not the easiest race. It's great to see so many people absolutely keeping the car in the right place at the right time. But you sort of had a couple of those moments where the seas parted for you.
Yeah, that's it. Sort of, it all pretty much went according to plan tonight. Sort of, I think I would have got second or third, and then there's that last yellow that came out between Aaron and Darren, I think it was. And there was a restart, and I clutched for under the pace car just to make sure I had the fuel. But then I knew once it went green, I had the fuel. But then I thought, oh, it's anyone's here. But I was probably going to come third or fourth, something like that, I reckon. But then, yeah, Aaron and Cade come a cropper, so opened it up a bit. But yeah, happy to take second.
Absolutely. It's never a bad thing to come home second on a very tricky night like tonight. As I said, always good to have you up here, Troy, and it's great to see you back up here. Hopefully we'll get a repeat of last time we had you in the booth for a second place, I think it was, and get you back up here for a win next time out. We'll try and repeat history for you.
Yeah, that'd be nice, mate. Yeah, keep calling me up, mate. I'll be happy to attend.
Look, always a pleasure. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout out to sponsors, people, go for it, mate.
Yep, just Sim Boys team. We just, every week we get on here and we just have a great time. So shout out to the team. Hot Toddy Heat Installs, United Electrical, you guys are the broadcast, the series and all associated sponsors, and just the missus for letting me get on here every week.
The most important one, the most crucial one indeed. Look, thank you so much, Troy. Have a lovely night, mate, and I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth in no time.
Awesome, Carl. Have a good one. Thanks.
Troy Davidson there for the Sim Boys, taking out P2 tonight. And finally tonight, it's been a long time between sips of champagne for this man, but it is the 52, the Golden Octopus of Mr. Aidan Schultz, takes it to victory lane here at Atlanta. Aidan, welcome back to the booth, and congratulations on the victory here tonight, mate.
Thanks, Carlos. It's been a long time, mate. It's good. It's I can't say that I wasn't getting a little bit excited when I come across the line. That was a pretty intense finish, but good to talk to you again.
How long until you realised you got the victory there? Because it was very close, and we all know iRacing can sometimes be a little bit prickly on its timing screen.
I knew straight away. I could see him on the left-hand side of my car, so I knew straight away as soon as I went across the line before iRacing sort of said that I won, I was already going, come on. So, yeah, I sort of knew, but it was actually interesting because halfway through the race, my headset went flat and I couldn't hear anything. So when we got that caution, I had to quickly jump up and get a charger so I could hear something. So I'm surprised I'm even here.
Wow, gotta love a night of adversary. Gary Wellman had issues with his car switching off randomly as well. So it sounds like tonight was the night for people that had technical issues to come through and triumph with some good results.
Yeah, it was good, and it was good racing, man. Everyone was working together. It was good. I don't really have any more to say on that. It was just good race, and I can't believe I actually won the race, to be honest.
Well, we all had faith in you. We knew it was possible. I mean, break clock's got to be right twice a week. So, no, look, it was a fantastic run. Look, just talk us through those last couple of corners because you absolutely nailed it by getting below that line, avoiding the accident mainly. But it looked like you just absolutely timed your draft run to perfection. We were watching it from the helicam, and there was nothing between yourself and Troy.
Yeah, it's probably 3 times tonight that happened. I think I missed a crash early doors in the first 20 or 30 laps. And then there was another one. I actually thought when we come to the green white checker with the 3 sim boys around me that I'm like, oh, what do I do here? I'm going to get boxed out. And then when they sort of got into each other on the high line, I've gone, oh, I got to go down. And I went down, and then we had half a lap left, and I just plucked it into 5th and just gone, I'm going to send it and just see how we'll end up. So, and luckily enough, we got away with the win. So I'm actually really stoked with that, Carl. That's really, really good.
Absolutely. Look, a absolute well-deserved victory for all the hard work you put in and behind the scenes as well with other people. So very, very happy to see this victory tonight, Aidan. Look, now you have to do the hard part, the love, the shout-outs. You have to go for it now. Give out the shout-outs and the love.
Yeah, of course, all the guys on the broadcast, so you guys and everything. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to go back and watch it and show it to our family and friends. So thank you to you guys for taking the time out to be able to allow that. Of course, the Golden Octopus Foundation, the main sponsor of the car, very, very good foundation. If anyone's out there, go on and support them. Kids with cancer and stuff. Brett and I are very visible with the way that we support that. So Golden Octopus Foundation, big thank you to them, and Fight for Kids. So also Quantum Motorsports. We are Quantum Motorsports, but we do run the Golden Octopus livery. And a big thanks to Brett as well. Brett wasn't spotting for me tonight, but he was chatting to me all night, telling me stop being a dickhead. So sorry to swear. Yeah, he was there all night as well, and it was really, really good to be able to get the win for the team.
That explains the victory. Brett wasn't spotted.
I heard you guys had a good little run at Martinsville last night too, so that was good.
No, look, absolutely great stuff. Congratulations, Aidan. I'm so stoked for you, mate. Great to see the Golden Octopus up there as well. Congratulations again. And look, hopefully this means we're going to see you up in the booth a couple more times in the near future now.
Let's not put the cart in front of the horse, Carlos, but hopefully it's a sign of things to come. But we're always there, we're always out having fun, and that's what we do. We have fun. It's not about the results. Obviously, tonight was a win. It was good. But next week or tomorrow night or whenever we race again, it's another night and we're out there having fun and representing. So that's what it's all about.
Well done, Aidan. Congratulations again. Great to have you back in Victory Lane, and hopefully I'm going to see you back in there in the near future, mate.
Hopefully, mate, and big congratulations to the other podium getters as well. Great race tonight, so big congratulations to them as well.
Thanks so much, Aidan. See you next time.
See you, boys.
Aidan Schultz there for Quantum and the Golden Octopus Foundation. Great to see him up there in Victory Lane. Really, really good race tonight, Mark. Lots of action out on track, and look, lots of green flag action as well. That's what we love to see in this series.
Yeah, definitely. Only 2 cautions, I think it was, in the end. So some great racing. Some late dives in the pit lane for a quick top up and to get the boys home. But again, another great race, spoiled for action right throughout the race and right throughout the field.
Absolutely, it's stuff we love to see. Well, we are done and dusted tonight, and our week of racing is done as well. On Sunday night, we are all finished up, but we will be back with you here on Performance E streaming on Thursday night, where we have the ASCAR Cup. Of course, we are in the playoffs now. It is the playoff season, fully in gear, and we will be coming to you from that tricky track, Bristol Motor Speedway. So we look forward to seeing you there. And then, of course, we are back in action with some more action in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, of course, brought to you by My Private Cellars. We will be back. I've lost my. As always, I've lost my screen. There we go. We'll be back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So we hope we can see you all there, and then we look forward to bringing all that action next Sunday night. But until next week, we will wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for watching. From myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson, with you, of course, Mr. Mark Johansson, of course, Matt Hunter doing all the hard work in the background. Have a great night, all, and we'll see you again soon.